The Little Big Man by Yumi. I am small because I am a little child. I shall be big when I am as old as my father is. My teacher will come and say, "It is late. Bring your slate and your books." I shall tell him, "Do you not know I am as big as father and I must not have lessons anymore?" My master will wonder and say, he can leave his books if he likes, for he is grown up. I shall dress myself and walk to the fair, where the crowd is thick. My uncle will come rushing up to me and say, "You will get lost, my boy, let me carry you." I shall answer, "Can't you see, uncle? I am as big as father, I must go to the fair alone." Uncle will say, "Yes, we can go wherever he likes, for he is grown up." Mother will come from her bath when I am giving money to my nurse, for I shall know how to open the box with my key. Mother will say, "What are you about, naughty child?" I shall tell her, "Mother, don't you know I am as big as father and I must get silver to my nurse?" Mother will say to herself, "He can give money to whom he likes, for he is grown up." In the holiday time in October, father will come home and, thinking that I am still a baby, will bring for me from the town little shoes and small silken frocks. I shall say, "Father, give them to my Dada, for I am as big as you are." Father will think and say, "He can buy his own clothes if he likes, for he is grown up." But at 12 o'clock, "Mother, I do want to leave off my lessons now. I have been at my book all the morning." "You say it only 12 o'clock? Sometime, suppose it isn't any later. Can't you ever think it is afternoon when it is only 12 o'clock?" I can easily imagine now that the sun has decided the edge of the rice field and the old fisherwoman is gathering herbs for her supper by the side of the pond. I can just shut my eyes and think that the shadows are growing darker under the mother tree and the water in the ponds look shiny black. If 12 o'clock can come in the night, why can't the night come when it is 12 o'clock? And then the authorship. You say that father writes a lot of books, but what he writes I don't understand. He was reading to you all the evening, but could you really make out what he understood or what he meant? What nice stories, mother, you can tell us. Why can't father write like that, I wonder? Did he never read from his own mother? Stories of giants and fairies and princesses? Has he forgotten them all? Often, when he gets late, you have to call him 100 times. You wait and keep his dishes warm for him. And he keeps on writing, writing, writing. Father always plays at writing and making books. If I ever go to father's room, you come and call me, what a naughty child. If I make the slightest noise, you say, don't you see that father's at his work? What's the fun of always writing and writing? When I take a father's pen and pencil and write his book just as he does A B C D E F G H I, why do you get cross with me then, mother? You never say a word when father writes. When my father wastes such heaps of paper, mother, you don't seem to mind at all. But if I take only one sheet to make a boat with it, you say, child, you're wasting, you're troublesome, you're wasting paper, you're spoiling trees. What do you think of father spoiling trees? Father spoiling nature by writing? And then, mother, if I am a hero, I'm really, can I be? Then let's imagine, mother, let us travel. We were traveling and passing through a strange and dangerous country. You were riding in a palanquin, and I was trotting by you in a red horse. It is evening, and the sun goes down. The waste of Joradighi lies wan and grey before us. The land is desolate and barren. You are frightened and thinking, I know not where we have come to. I say to you, mother, do not be afraid. The meadow is prickly and spiky grass through it runs a narrow, broken path. There are no cattle to be seen in the wild field. They have gone to their village stalls. It grows dark and dim on the land and sky, and we cannot tell where we are going. Suddenly, you call me and ask me in a whisper, what light is that near the bank? Just then, there bursts out a fearful yell, and figures come running towards us. You sit crouched in your palanquin and repeat the names of the gods in prayer. The bearers, shaking in terror, hide themselves in the thorny bush. I shout to you, don't be afraid, mother, I am here. With long sticks in their hands and hair all wild about their heads, they come nearer and nearer. I shout, have care, you villains! You step more and you are dead men. They give another terrible yell and rush forward. You clutch my hand and say, dear boy, for heaven's sake, keep away from them. I say, mother, just you watch me. Then I spur my horse for a wild gallop, and my sword and bucket clash against each other. The fight becomes a fearful one. So fearful, mother, that it would give you a cold shudder. Could you see it from your palanquin? Many of them fly, and a great number are cut to pieces. It's gory. I know you are thinking, sitting all by yourself, that your boy must be dead by this time. No, 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 no. I come to you all stained and say, mother, the fight is over now. You come out and tell me, I don't know what I should do if I hadn't my boy to escort me. 1,000 useless things happen day after day, and why can't such a thing come true by chance? It would be like a story in a book. My brother would say, is it possible? I always thought he was so delicate. Our village people would all say in amazement, why? It is lucky that the boy was with his mother. Thank you for listening to me, and please read Yumi's books. They are so much about our motherland and our patriotic fight.